afternoon, everybody. Myself, Nithana Alice Bogan, Senior Speech Language Pathologist from Chitra Part 2. She is Amita Joji, Speech Language Pathologist from Chitra Part 2. Today, we are here to share about the thoughts and ideas about speech and language. Before moving on to that, I would like to explain with some few examples, such as suppose a kid at 4 years of age, he is not able to speak, or if he is speaking and it's not clear, it is a problem. And another example is a kid at 10 years of age, they are lately identifying that the kid is not able to study, read, write. All these like learning disabilities are there, or difficulties with him are there. Moving on to a higher age, suppose we can say adult, if they are affected with a stroke, they will be having one word utterances or uncleared speech. So all these are different scenarios where the main problem is difficulty in communicating. So difficulty in communicating with different disorders. So in this era, everybody who thinks like people nowadays think that whoever doesn't speak or whoever is having a unclear speech, it will be a speech disorder, or it is only with respect to speech. So I would like to correct that and explain more into that. So speech, if it is affected, it can be due to other reasons as well. So all these above mentioned examples, we have different possibilities of speech as well as language disorder. So moving on to that, I would like to explain regarding speech. So what is speech? Speech is nothing but how we use the sounds or how we say sounds. So speech have different components. So the main three components of speech are voice, fluency, and articulation. In voice, I would like to explain how are we producing the voice. So the air from the lungs passes through the voice box, that is called the larynx, moves on to the larynx, it gets resonated, it's nothing but the vibration, and that is being modulated in the mouth through the articulators. Articulators are tongue, teeth, jaw, lips, and palate. So palates are the roof of the mouth and back of the tongue. That is known as palates. So these articulators then with the different movements will be given to produce particular sounds. For example, the tongue, if it is touched in the roof of the mouth, that is called half palate, it produces ta, da, ta sounds. When the lips are being pressed, it is called bilabial sounds. It is like these are pa, ba, ma. So this is how articulation works. So voice the air is the main content, then the voice box, and then the components of the mouth. This is how voice works. Fluency is the rhythm, how we are telling it, the efficiency of words, the flow of words that we use. Like suppose I am talking in this flow, this is called my fluency. Next one is articulation, which I've already told, along with voice, that the usage of articulators for producing different sounds is articulation. So if these three components are active enough, then the speech would be normal. But if any of these is being affected, then it becomes a speech disorder. For example, if voice is affected, that is in the voice box, we have vocal folds. It is in a V shape. Suppose a pimple like a thing, it's called nodule. If it happens or occurs on the vocal fold, it will be affecting the voice. The normal voice won't be like this. It will be like breathy voice. Air will be more rather than the sound because the closure is not happening. So that is voice disorder. That comes in speech. So it will be particularly diagnosed as voice disorder. If it is regarding the fluency, it will be like the rate will be calculated. Suppose if I am speaking more fast, it will be cluttering. If I am speaking with a little bit of different disturbances, like I am repeating the words, it will be known as stammering or stuttering. Likewise. And in kids, one more is there, normal non-fluency, which will be normal in till one particular age, and later on it will be fading off. So these three will be affecting the fluency of speech. Next one is articulation. Articulation is like any above mentioned, previously I have told about the organs of the mouth. If any of these organs are affected, it will be affecting the articulation. For example, if there is a cleft opening in the lip, it will be affecting the production of pa, ba, which will be leading to unclear speech or nasalized speech. The cleft goes into the palate, it will be nasalized speech. So cleft will be one reason. Next thing is with respect to the tongue. If the tongue is not flexible enough to touch the roof, it is like the attachment will be short then it is called as tongue tie or ankylosing. So these two will be leading to articulation disorder. So these three, like voice, fluency, and articulation, will be leading to speech disorder. So how we can know that it is a speech disorder? Suppose a kid is talking and you feel that some sounds are being misplaced. So normally in the learning stage, they will be having some articulations, like for pa they will be using pa because they are not putting their focus of attention to differentiate the sounds. That will be normal only. But even though if you correct it also, if it is not getting corrected, then you have to go to a speech language pathologist to make it, like, to learn the techniques and to teach them, or they will help your child to put some other techniques and then make it properly. So that would be one. Like if tongue tie and all, if it is there, we have to go for a surgical replacement and then work on the speech part. Then only the extension of the tongue will be proper and the sounds will be clear. So normally, so speech disorder, no, speech delay can also come. Speech delay is nothing but the child is taking some time to start talking. So how we can analyze that the child is having a delay? So normally, according to the criteria, 1 year lo the child will be, or like 12 to 15 months ago, the child will be able to say some meaningful utterances. So we have some criteria called babbling, cooing, imitations, and all, differentiate and cry in one particular ages. So 6 months ago, if babbling is not there, or cooing is not there before that, or differentiate to cry for pain or hunger if it is not there, all these are symptoms of speech delay. Later on only we can diagnose it as a disorder or not. So like early intervention is always the best. So the parents who are like newborns are there, or the parents who are taking care of, or whoever it is that taking care of the kids, should be noticing the development of the kids. So 12 to 15 months, if they are not uttering a word, before that babbling is not there, or babbling was supposed to be at 6 to 8 months, if it is not there, you have to mark it out and wait and see. Around 12 months, if it is not there, that is around 1 year of age, one word it is not come. Soon you have to start stimulating at home. If it is not working, you have to consult a speech language pathologist. So the normatives, in a brief, if I could say, like 12 to 15 months, the child will be able to say amma, daddy, nana, or something, like the child who is familiar with the what word, that will be repeated at the age of 1. If it is around 18 months, comprehension of no, stop, and all will be there. Like if the child is doing something and amma is telling that don't do that or stop it, means they would be stopping it. So that level of comprehension will be there around 18 months. Then moving on to 3 years, 2 to 3 years, we could say, 2 words combinations the child will be able to say, like water kavali or give me water. Likewise, 2 to 3 words will be there. Moving on to the 4 years of age, they would be able to add more words to the particular sentences, and then they can reach up to story narration as well. Depending upon the child's cognitive ability also. We cannot force every child. So depending upon the child's cognitive ability, we have to put the things. So once the one word level is being achieved, try to add one more word. For example, if you show an apple, the child will be saying apple. Add one more word like red apple. Then again. So these are all different techniques that we use in speech therapy, speech and language therapy, to stimulate the child. That I'll be telling on to later. So this is about speech. So speech is how we use the sounds or how we put out the sounds and words. And then moving on to phrases and sentences. What is language? So language is how we use these words or how we share the ideas. Suppose that is where the brain takes the part. Suppose this is a tissue paper. So this is a tissue paper, anta, like I have to say. So seeing this, the visual input have to go to the brain, and then from there, brain will be sending the command, and then I will be speaking through my mouth. So if that passage or pathway is being affected, then it becomes a language disorder. That I am not able to put it out. Even though I know the word, I am not able to put it out. It doesn't come in speech disorder. So language is, again I'm telling, the way we use the words and the way we share the ideas that we have. So language also have different components. More than speech, language have. So there are 5 components of language: phonology, morphology, syntax, semantics, and pragmatics. So that is also different stages of building language, which is also accompanied with speech. So phonology is the usage, the production of individual sounds like pa, ma, ta, etc. So that are called phonemes. So this achieve like developing of this individual sounds is known as phonology. And when these sounds are being put into a word, that is called morphology. For example, if you say bottle, that is two different phonemes. So for and that is being put it in one word, bottle. So that is known as morphology. Third one is syntax. Syntax is the grammatical aspects of the language. So the child would be knowing the words, he would be adding the words, but he won't be able to put it the grammatical correct. Put it in a correct grammatical way. Suppose like the table is on the sorry, bottle is on the table. So on the table, that is a grammatical aspect, may where the child wouldn't be knowing it. So that is where we have to train them regarding the same. Semantics is the same thing where we have to put the meaning. The child might be having grammatical concept, but they doesn't know where to put it, how. That is where we build up the meaning. So meaning comes in semantics. After putting everything, the way we convey is known as pragmatics, the social use of language. Maybe we know the things, but we doesn't know to communicate. So for communication or a general conversation, we cannot say that the bottle is on the table or I am sitting on the chair. So in that concept law, they will be working on the social use of language. Mainly, it focuses on the conversation. So two people are conversing, or somebody randomly comes to the child and asks the name. The child should be aware that I should be answering the question. So I am asking that what is your name? The child should be saying that my name is XYZ. So that is where we use the word pragmatics here. So in pragmatics, there are different things. In each and every component, different things also comes. Pragmatics have the wishing things, requesting, turn taking, topic initiation. Everything comes in pragmatic, where we are facing other person or a group of people and then speaking. So that is the complex level of language. So this is about language. Moving on to language delay, it will be like any difficulty in these things, like which above mentioned components, that will be language delay. Like things I know, but I'm not able to put it. Like this, comprehension is there. The child is able to point, child is able to communicate through gestures, but is not able to put it out. That is where the language delay comes. So how we can identify language delay? That is, for example, 12 months ago, the child will be able to point, show gestures like waving by or shaking hands for hello, etc. Then 18 months ago, vocalizations and imitations will be there. Vocalizations is like in sounds they will be starting off. It's like for amma or annamma, something like that. The initial word the child will be able to put it out. In 2 years of age, like speech, the child will be able to say phrases. So, if adequate stimulation is not being given in this particular age, that is the critical period of age to develop the speech and language, these are all going to be in delay, which will be diagnosed as receptive expressive language delay. So, or else delayed speech and language. If speech components are also affected, we will be putting it as delayed speech and language secondary to what disorder it is. Like with secondary to cleft lip or secondary to ankyloglossia, that will be the diagnosis that a speech language pathologist would be making it. So these are about speech and language. To have a proper speech and language, hearing also should be adequate. So if kids or people are not able to hear properly, that will be affecting the speech and language as well. Suppose if a newborn child is there, he is getting stimulated through the grandparents or anybody who is taken care of, would be feeding them by showing the natural things like trees or birds or vehicles or something, where the child is listening to what we are saying and also having a visual stimulation to what we are showing as well. So both auditory and visual stimulation is going into the child's brain and then they are reacting back through words. So that is how they grasp or achieve the words or they increase vocabulary. But nowadays, what happens is like if the parents are busy or grandparents are not there, every child is being provided with the androids where they doesn't know that they have to communicate here. They are not getting the concept of asking their needs or conveying their things. So what happens is there like visual stimulation is not there, auditory stimulation is not there. So visual stimulation is not only just pointing the object; it's also like how we talk also, like seeing our lips, seeing the movement of the tongue. All this matters when you put out a word. So for speech and language therapy, what the speech therapists do is like gain their eye contact, attention, make them sit, and then tell them the things, how to speak, how to use words, how to put it on correctly. So that is how we have studied, and we are implementing it to the kids. So maybe a parent also will think that it's easy to do it, but the kids won't be cooperative at home, where they know the leniency part and they would be sitting, whereas we will be making them sitting to gain their attention by providing their own interest, and then we'll be focusing on working on the speech and language part. So hearing plays an adequate role where they have to focus on what we are telling. If they are not providing eye contact, if the visual stimulus is not there, then also speech and language will be delayed. So from now on, at least focus on the part where you have to communicate by giving eye contact and face to face interaction. Moving on to the last part, like language stimulations that you can give at home, there are few techniques that we use for the therapy purpose. That is like, first, we would like to say that you have to give time to the kid to respond back. Once you start stimulation at home, already if it is late, you have to give the child some time to get adjusted, to make them understand that I have to listen and then put it out, or then I have to speak. So for that, observe, wait, and listen is the first technique that we have to use. At home also, being a therapist also, we have to observe how the child is with the people, how the child is with the parents, how the child is with us, etc. How they are trying to communicate. So that comes in observation. Next one is wait. Waiting time is the child has to get adapted to the scenario. Next one is listen. So if they are trying to communicate in one or the other way, don't interrupt them, don't correct them as soon as. Like wait and give them some time, let them finish it and then correct it. Next one is self-talk. That is stimulation of explaining like what the therapist or what the mother is doing, or whoever is having the face-to-face conversation with the child, the other person, the one who is stimulating the child the one activities of the one who is stimulating the child has to be described. That is, suppose I am taking therapy for a kid, I have to explain the things which I am doing. That is called as self-talk. Suppose like I am writing something. See, Ma'am is writing with a pen. Ma'am is writing on the book. Likewise, that stimulation is called as self-talk. Parallel talk is the next one. Parallel talk is where we describe the activities of the child. Suppose child is playing with a toy. We are explaining the things that the child is doing. See, he is running the car. The car wheels is going round. The car is red in color. So that is how we explain the child's activity. So explanation, no, we can add more things, like how the child is sitting, how the child is doing the activities, etc. The color of the thing that he is using, all this can be done in parallel. Next one is prompting. Prompting, no, there are two main prompts, that is partial prompt and full prompt. Partial prompt is like, suppose apple, if the child have to say, we will be saying then he will be catching it for apple. But full prompt we will give for the sentences, like my name is ABC. So my name is, my we have to start, then the child will be finishing off the next words. That is how full prompt works. So prompting is nothing but it's starting of the word or starting of a sentence we have to give. Then the child will be catching with the rest. Next thing will be cueing. So cueing is giving the same like prompt only, but in a different way. Cueing, no, there are different types of cueing, like tactile cues and semantic cues. Tactile cues is like where we use the touch to give the cues. For normally for hearing loss kids, we use that more prior importantly, because their hearing was not there. So we are giving tactile cues, like to show the vibrations over here, to make them understand when the vibration is here, it is for sounds. When the vibration is here, it is the palate sounds. When the vibration of lips or nose happens, different sounds. That is how we show the tactile stimulation. For other kids like autistics or ADHD kids, we can use the same tactile stimulation to gain their attention, to make them understand that we have to see our face to understand like how to talk. That is how tactile cueing is happening. Semantic cueing is like describing the object. Suppose if we are giving a banana, say that banana, like we have to get the word banana from the kid. So we have to give the surrounding cues regarding the object. So what we will say is like it's a fruit, it's yellow in color, we will peel it and eat. So what it is? It can be long. So likewise, the surrounding cues we have to give and make the get the target word. That is semantic cueing. So that comes in cueing. Next one is modeling. Modeling, we can give models of the things and then make them say, or we have to reduce the rate of speech, like very slowly and clearly we have to speak, or else give more repetitions. Say continuously stimulate the kid with more repetitions where they are continuously hearing so many times and then grasping it. So that is how modeling works. Or one more type of modeling is like we can model and show how we are saying it. Suppose for tongue tie kids and all, the articulation how we work on is like showing the mirror, by showing the manner and placement of articulation. We can keep the mirror, we can show like modeling ourselves how to move the tongue, how to touch, where to touch and all. And the same way the child has to imitate back. So that is also another type of modeling. Next one is demonstration action, which is already like this only. We are demonstrating and then showing. Suppose if we are teaching the concept of action verbs for a kid, we are demonstrating the action and then making them do it. Where the child can demonstrate it or repeat it back, imitate it back, and then say what he is doing, or by demonstrating only they should be able to name it. So different stages will be there to get it achieved. Next thing will be extension and expansion. So extension is adding more words, which I have already told. If it is apple, we will be giving red apple. Next one will be red apple is on the table. Likewise, adding more words will be extension. Extension. Expansion is expressing the feelings. Suppose the kid is feeding a cat, or picture low, he's telling that kid cat eating or cat eat. So how we have to expand it is like the cat is hungry, feed it. Likewise, adding more words only, but in a way we express the emotions and moving on to the other category as well. So that is extension and expansion. Last is one narration and picture description. So narration, what happens is the child should be able to narrate a story. So normally we will cut short the story, like paragraph stories we won't be giving for a basic learner. According to the age, we will be giving small sentences of the stories where the child should be able to remember, recognize where to put it, and then say. So now short stories we will take, and then like 5 sentences or something we will be teaching them where they have to remember the order, remember the words, pictures, and all, and then they have to say it. So once they are okay in the therapy session or okay, then only we will take them outside in front of somebody else to narrate the same story. Next thing is picture description. Picture description, like we will give small pictures like a girl is brushing, where the child should be able to say that the girl is brushing. Next picture will be a girl is eating. So one sentences we will be trying to give like with through the pictures, like what next cards will be there. Once they are achieved with that, then we can move on to little more. Two people are doing something, or three people doing something in a picture. Then complex level would be showing a playground where the child should be able to individually tell what each person in the picture is doing. That is the complex level of picture description. These are the techniques that we are using for stimulation at therapy, which can be used at home as well, because nowadays everything is available, so which can be trained. So only 40-minute session of speech is not going to work well. So at home also, if you could use these techniques which have been mentioned, has to be put it out and then make them aware that this has to be learned in this particular way. And suppose like if you start with self-talk and if it is not working, you don't have to stick on that only. You can use other techniques where the child is having the interest, and then we can do it. And one more technique is like you can purposefully make mistakes. Error correction. It is called as error correction. So in that law, if you purposefully make some mistakes where the child will be correcting you, so that is another level, like the child is understanding that you made a mistake or you said it wrongly and he is initiating to correct it. So that is also another technique. So any of the techniques where the child's interest is there, continue with the same techniques and work on the activities that you have to be. Suppose a speech therapist will be assigning you, like you have to do so and so at home, or say continue the same thing that has been worked in the therapy as well. So you can use the same techniques also, or else ask the therapist about the techniques that, like if it is not working, any other techniques. Actually, there are more techniques. So ask the concerned therapist regarding the same and work it at home as well.